What made you write this book now?
I've written mostly beauty books, makeup and beauty books, but this book is called Still Bobbi. I went back to my grandparents, my parents, who I am, where I came from.
So when did the makeup world begin for you?
I used to watch in amazement my mother get ready to go out, and she was really glamorous and beautiful. And she said, forget what you think you need to do to make money. What would you do if it was your birthday and I had a magic wand, you could do anything you want? I said, I want to go to the department store and play with makeup. She said, why don't you be a makeup artist? I actually went in to get a job and they wouldn't hire me. You know, Marshall Fields, I'll never forget it. And fast forward, they were in my office when I was at Bobbi Brown Cosmetics trying to get our business. And I just said, guys, you wouldn't hire me back then. We're not going in Marshall Fields.
So what's next for you?
I'm going to try.
Hi, I'm Dr. Will Cole. Wellness is a sacred art, and you are the masterpiece. This is the art of being well.
Bobbi Brown, thanks for coming on the pod.
I'm so happy to talk to you.
You just drove down the street for me. I came into town for you, my friend.
Oh, it's so nice. Yeah, it wasn't far. I think it took me 19 minutes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you like living down here part-time?
Yeah, I do actually. It's nice to get out of my day-to-day, you know, which seems so packed and full, and I have less on my plate here. But it is a little more difficult because I spend my work life Zooming without my assistants. So
Yeah.
it's a nice
So we're in
balance.
South Florida, and you're in New York, New Jersey.
New York, New Jersey, the
Yeah.
Hamptons, yeah.
You get around.
I get around. Yeah, sometimes I wake up, I'm like, wait, where's the bathroom? Oh, yeah.
Left here or right
Yeah.
here? So let's go back. I love this book. What made you write this book now? Because you've
Well,
written like 10 books,
I have.
right?
I've written mostly beauty books, makeup and beauty books. My last book before this was Beauty from the Inside Out, which was my journey on to wellness, which we'll get to. But this book is called Still Bobbi, and it didn't start out to be a memoir. It really was I was reached by an agent that said, you've got to write a book because so many things you put out there are so helpful to so many people, and you do it like kind of organically in your way. You have to write a book. And I'm like, I'm not ready for a memoir. She says, it doesn't have to be a memoir. And then you start the project. And I went back to my grandparents, my parents, who I am, where I came from, all my experiences in the middle, and then where I am now, which is the best place I've been so far.
Beautiful. So let's go back there. Obviously, they can get the book to get all the nitty gritty stuff, but I want to maybe talk about some things that aren't in the book, and also people just to get an understanding of who Bobbi Brown is. You grew up in Chicago.
Suburbs.
Suburb of Chicago. Go back to that point. What was childhood like for Bobbi Brown?
My parents were amazing, and they were 20 and 21 when they got married. And so when I was born, they were 21 and 22. And I'm the oldest of three kids. They had three kids. By the time they were 25, they lived in the suburbs. My dad was a lawyer, my mom a homemaker, and they had three kids at 25 years old. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
So, they stayed married 20 years and had a typical suburban upbringing. And, it was really about my friends and my social life. I was not a great student. School was just something I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents split up. We spent a lot of time with my grandparents, my aunts and uncle. We had a very close family. I write in the book about Aunt Alice, who's now 94. She's my amazing strength and is the youngest 94-year-old I've ever met. Really, really life goals. And, then I went to college in the middle of senior year. I graduated early, and I never moved back to Chicago.
Wow. So when did the makeup world begin for you? Were you interested in beauty? Yeah.
I've always been interested in beauty. I used to watch in amazement my mother get ready to go out, and she was really glamorous and beautiful, and I never felt I was pretty or glamorous, so I always wanted to be. And I would always play with her makeup, and whenever I'd put it on, I made sure it didn't look like I was wearing makeup. That was even my style back then. And after my second college, I came home and told my mom I wanted to drop out, and she said, you can't. I'm like, what do you mean? Mom, you have to graduate, because she never did. I said, but Mom, it's really boring, and I don't know what I want to do. She said, forget what you think you need to do to make money. What would you do if it was your birthday and I had a magic wand, you could do anything you want? I could have said anything, right? I could have said, go to Paris, you know, eat chocolate chip cookies all day in bed. I could have said anything. I said, I want to go to the department store and play with makeup. She said, why don't you be a makeup artist? Wow. And I said, I don't want to go to beauty school. She said, I'm sure there's a college somewhere that you could study makeup. And I found Emerson.
Wow. That's amazing advice.
Especially back then.
Yes.
Right? It was a really long time ago.
Yeah. So did you have any fear? Was it just, I mean, because you didn't have anyone in the family that did it, or no? Did you just jump into it?
Well, you know, I am not, the only thing I'm really fearful about in my life are the safety of my, you know, family and friends. I'm not a fearful person when it comes to my career or, you know, I think I'm incredibly naive. Like, I'm like, all right, well, that's a great idea. That was a dumb idea, you know, so I was never fearful about it. I just dove in and I got super, 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 you know, passionate about the entire world of visual and creativity and makeup. And I just went crazy. And
So were you in a department store doing makeup for a while?
No. I've never worked in a department store. I actually went in to get a job and they wouldn't hire me. You know, Marshall Fields, I'll never forget it. And fast forward, they were in my office when I was at Bobbi Brown Cosmetics trying to get our business. And I just said, guys, you wouldn't hire me back then. We're not going in Marshall Fields.
I love the story. So Marshall Fields department store wouldn't hire Bobbi Brown
as a kid to be a makeup artist. You know, whoever was behind the cosmetics counter. So when they came in to pitch our business, I'm like, sorry guys, it was it was a joke. I don't think we ever ended up going with them, which is a good thing because they turned into Macy's.
Ah,
yeah.
Hey, so okay, so you went to school, then you started seeing clients. At what point did you feel like, oh, I made it. Like I'm a successful makeup artist. How many years into this career?
I mean, it definitely took a while. I stayed a year after I graduated in Boston. I did the most important thing, which is I got a job as a waitress because I needed to, you know how to support myself. Yes. So did that. And I realized, you know, it was Boston. There's no reason to stay in Boston. You know, I wasn't going to try to get to the top of the heap in Boston and then move to New York. So I decided to move to New York. Not knowing anyone, moved in with a then boyfriend, and all these stories are in the book. And I just opened up the yellow pages and started cold calling anything that started with M, makeup, models, and I just started going to see people. And it took, you know, a little bit of time, but I finally started to get hired. And, you know, I got a lot of no's and a lot of like ridicule, like, what are you doing? You're not good. You're not this. And I just kept going. And I found my people, my comfort zone. And I started kind of doing makeup my way, which was all I knew how to do. You know, I'm what I've learned in life, I'm only happy when I am as comfortable in my skin. I can't be what I'm not.
Wow, that is great to stay in your lane, and not in a pejorative, dismissive way, but in a knowing, like, this is how I'm going to be a conduit for what the best of me.
Right. And I didn't know that I eventually would be known for the natural makeup, you know, or I'd be known for confidence, self-esteem. It's just I was doing what I was doing. And ironically, the confidence and self-esteem was something I was always struggling with because I never felt enough. I never felt smart enough in school. I never felt tall enough. I never felt pretty enough. You know, which is so ironic because I look back now at the young Bobbi. I'm like, I was really cute. Like, what was my problem? You know?
Is that true? It's like the human condition.
Yeah.
I want to unpack something you said about being a waiter, being a server. My son's in college right now, and I told him the same thing. He's a full-time student. I'm like, there's going to be life lessons to be a server that you will benefit you for the rest of your life. Did you find that as well?
100%. You know, first of all, I lied through my teeth to get the job because I had no experience. You know, I think I worked in my dad had a hamburger joint when I was a kid, so I, you know, wrote that. It was really hard, really, really hard work. And you have to kind of be a psychologist a little bit. You have to bust your butt. You got to work with other people. And you have to remember things. And it was, you know, not easy, but it was really fun. And, you know, I knew I didn't want my life career to be a waitress.
Yeah, but it's like these skill sets you now use even today, probably.
I do. I understand, you know, what people are going through. And now when I go to restaurants and the service is bad, or so I know if it's the waiter's fault or if I know if it's the restaurant's fault. And I see how the waiter will, either ignore us or come over and say, guys, I'm so sorry. Can I refill your drink? It's taking longer. I swear to God, I'm checking every second. So those are really important communication skills.
Okay, 100%. How far into your career did Bobbi Brown Cosmetics happen, and how did that happen?
Well, so I, started working right away, little teeny things. They led to more things. And probably by the time I was, in New York for 10 years and I was around 29, 30, I was at the top of my game. I was doing Vogue covers. I was doing fashion shows. I was traveling a lot. But I also found the man of my dreams. So I had broken up with a guy that I dated for 12 years. I met this new guy, fell, madly in love, like instantly. We got engaged in 3 months, and I didn't want to travel the globe anymore and be this fabulous, fashion makeup artist. So we moved to New Jersey, and I commuted, and I got pregnant, and I just didn't want to do what I was doing, and I met a chemist and had an idea for a lipstick. So before there was a name called Bobbi Brown Cosmetics, there was lipsticks that I was selling out of my backpack, basically, in the park and at shoots, and people would buy them. And I had the chemist and I were 50-50 partners, and I started this little side hustle.
Wow.
And then one day, and all these stories are in the book, one day I met a really nice woman in New York at a party. I went to a fancy party. Remember, I got all dressed up, not my comfort zone at the time. And I thanked her for inviting me, and she thanked me for coming. And she said she was a big fan. I said, oh, I can't believe you know who I am. And I said, what do you do? She said, I'm a cosmetics buyer at Bergdorf Goodman. I said, oh, I have a line of lipsticks. So I didn't realize I just pitched her right there in her kitchen. And she eventually took the lipsticks, and we opened at Bergdorf, and that's when things got real.
Wow. Being backstage at fashion shows in the 90s, 80s,
yeah.
90s, what is something that comes to mind, like the wildest? We're talking the height of the supermodel.
Oh my God, so many wild. I mean, first of all, when you do Fashion Week and the girls are going from show to show to show, you know how many girls came in late when the new show was started and they had a face full of awful makeup from the last show, and we had to attack them as they're getting dressed. Like those were things, and since it was the end of the 80s and the 90s, there was a lot of drugs, and you would go in there and sometimes, the photographers or the stylists would be literally, out of their minds, and you would just be like, what am I doing here? I mean, so there was many, and lots of white powders on noses.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, I mean, was there anybody that you felt like you didn't know them and they ended up being really nice, or people that are the opposite, or like, oh my, you're just like a
both. I mean,
neurotic?
honestly, both. There's still, the supermodels that I keep in touch with, a lot of them, over Instagram, that are in all sorts of the worlds. And now they're in their 50s, right?
Yeah.
They were young kids. I was, 30. They must have been 20-something.
Did you ever work with Elle McPherson?
Of course.
She's a good friend of mine.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the kindest people.
Oh, she was always really, really nice. Cindy Crawford, always really nice. And the ones that were, not nice, they're still not nice, and it's funny, a lot of them did not age well. It's so interesting. But, it was an amazing time. I learned a lot about health and wellness during this time, because I would see these young, gorgeous girls come in. They'd be so naive and young, and I wouldn't see them for a year or so. They'd come back, and they were on drugs, smoking. They looked like ashtrays. And I just said, this was stupid. Something's not right.
Was it tough, because you weren't a partier, to be in that circle? Did you feel pressured to be in that lifestyle?
I never really felt pressure. And, I was the kid when I was young. I'd go to slumber parties, and by 9:30, I'd call my mom to pick me up because they wouldn't let me go to bed. Yeah, I was tired. I get tired early. But I learned the most invaluable lesson because, all of a sudden I'm this young makeup artist and we're doing, Vogue shoots and people from all over the world. And the catering is the most amazing thing you've ever seen, like the pasta, the breads, the desserts. So I ate everything. You know, I was hungry, and I just started feeling awful. And I remember one day saying to myself, something's not right here. Like, why do I feel so bad? You know, at the end of the day, I have no energy. I feel like napping. And I realized I was gorging myself with white flour, and it was not working for me. So I started throwing, this is like, you know, in the 90s, I started throwing vegetables in a Ziploc bag. And, you know, then I started bringing other things. And then I would pick around what they made. And I'm like, oh, I feel better. I have more energy. So I started kind of connecting the dots a little bit.
I love it. And those are the early days of your connection to wellness.
Yeah.
You told me the story once that I want you to share with everybody. This story backstage at a fashion show with this up-and-coming model named Melania.
Yeah. Melania, yes, I did. She was a model. She was very nice. She didn't speak a lot of English, but she was very nice. And she brought her boyfriend. And her boyfriend was someone that was known. I'm not sure what he was known for back then. He is now our president. But I'll never forget because he was like literally telling me what to do with her makeup. That's not right. That's not right. And I just took my brushes. I handed him. I said, you want to do it? You know, I've had that experience a few times.
What's another time?
Once I was doing another Vogue shoot on the beach, and there was a beautiful girl and her boyfriend who basically handed, you know, a same thing. He's telling me what to do. I handed him a brush. I said, I know you know how to do this. Go ahead. It was Julian Schnabel.
Oh my
You know, the painter. And I'm like, so, you know, I'm used to it. I did Lauren Bush's makeup for her wedding, and Ralph, you know, who's a doll and a dear friend, came over to me and said, you know, when she wakes up in the morning and has no makeup on, she looks so amazing. Does she need that makeup? And I looked at him. I said, Ralph, it's her wedding, and this is what she wants to look like.
Oh my gosh.
So, you know, I've always been comfortable kind of telling people what's up in a nice way.
In a nice way, the kindness first. That's the Midwest in you. I mean, I think
Yeah.
some of God's kindest people are the people in the Midwest.
Yeah.
What do you think it is?
Oh, 100%. I think we're the center of the country, and, you know, we were raised to be nice to people.
I was born in Iowa, and I was
Okay.
raised in Western Pennsylvania, which is culturally more Midwest than like East Coast. It's
for
very-
sure. And by the way, that doesn't mean that I'm not like a whippersnapper,
Right.
hard worker.
There's
And,
a-
you know,
like
I know what's up, but there's a way to get what you want and not being a total, are you allowed to say dick?
Yeah, you could
Not
say
being a total
anything.
dick.
Yeah, it's an art, man. Let's teach the rest of the country.
Yeah, 100%. And we're allowed to be different. We're allowed to have different views. We just need to work together. But I'm not here to talk politics.
Yeah, I love it. All right, my friend. So, okay. And at what point into Bobbi Brown Cosmetics did the Estée Lauder merger
Right.
come from?
So we launched at Bergdorf Goodman, Bobbi Brown Cosmetics,
Yeah.
February of 1991. I remember that because my baby was 6 months old, my first baby. And in 4 years, we were somehow the number one line at Neiman's and Bergdorf, you know, and that was not, I guess, a popular thing for Estée Lauder. And we got a call that Leonard wanted to meet us. You know, Leonard Lauder is the son of Estée, who passed away this year. And we went to, you know, I went to his house and met him, fell madly in love with him. And he said to me, what if I tell you we could partner? I'd like to buy you, and you could do what you really love, which I know is being a mother, being a wife, and being a creative person. And we could take all the things you don't like away. And, you know, it sounded pretty good.
Yeah. Was there any hesitation of giving that control up, or no? That instinct again was that through line at that decision point. as well?
My instinct was, wow, you know, this guy, what this, you know, company had at the time. It was a family-run business at the time, and he was incredible and knew so much. And I knew from the second we met that he believed in me and, you know, wanted to support me on this. We also had, and the story's in the book too, we also had business partners that we were not getting along with. And the thought of having someone else deal with this, you know, trouble was pretty good.
That's good. And you didn't, was that decision, what was that like, the transition? And you stayed as part of for many
Right.
years. So how many years
Right.
after as a employee basically of Estee Lauder?
I stayed 22 years, which is
Wow.
amazing. I had a 25-year non-compete, which we signed because, I was 34 years old, 34, 35 when we sold the company. And my husband said, the deal's done. We agreed on all the terms, except there's this 25-year non-compete they want you to sign. I'd never heard of a non-compete, period. And I started to say 25 years. And I was thinking, I'm going to be in my 60s. I'm not going to work in my 60s. Well, I was 62 when I left the company.
Wow.
Oh, no, I was 59.9 when I left the company.
So did you plan on staying that long?
No, I didn't plan on staying that long. In the beginning, I, had 5-year contracts, and towards the end, I had 2-year contracts because I wasn't sure. I think I once had a 1-year contract. No, I think 2 years. And, over the years, it got tougher and tougher and tougher, and I wasn't ready to pull the plug. And I honestly don't think I'd ever have pulled the plug. They pulled the plug. So, it was whether I quit or got fired. You could read the story. They canceled my work contract, which to me is getting fired. They wanted me to stay as the silent face of the brand.
Wow.
There's nothing silent about me. I just, they
I didn't know that.
Oh,
Bobbi.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So did it not end on good terms?
No, it did not end on great terms.
I didn't know that either.
Oh, no, it was not pretty. It was not pretty. When I left, trust me, there was a lot of PR and crisis PR standing by and all of these things. And, it was agreed upon, it took 4 months after this happened for them to get the message out to the wires. And it just basically said that I was moving on.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what the world saw.
That's what the world saw. And, I never wanted, it was a gift, in hindsight. And I never wanted to sound like I was, bitter, angry, even though I was. I was pissed off. I was hurt. I was, all those emotions. But I just didn't think it was necessary. And so even when I wrote the book, I was very careful with my words. My husband was even more careful. Are you sure you want to say this like this? And, and there was lawyers involved that said, can you actually prove this? And I'm like, yes, I could prove this.
So they can get the book for this.
So they could get the book for all of this. And it's important for everyone to know that, yes, these things happen. And yes, it's sad and emotional. And I had a lot of things in my wheelhouse that helped me move on and get better. And if I didn't go through the bad things and the hurt feelings, I would never come out a better human being.
How did you process that hurt, betrayal?
Right. Well, the first couple days, I used tequila, so that was fine. My friends came over from next door, and we drank, and they listened to me, and and all that stuff. And then I just said, okay, enough, and I started reaching out to people that I knew that I never had time to talk to and see. I would go in the city, and I would, have breakfast and lunches, and it was like an invigorating time for me because I had been stuck in this corporate tower for 20 years. So I'm like, wow, there's a whole world out there.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. And I would, have many hours during the day where I would be sad, angry, and then I would try to push through it. What I did is I exercised. I moved my body. I walked a lot. I picked up the phone, called people, talked to people. And I'm not a shrink person, but I discovered a life coach. And, a friend of mine who was my yoga instructor turned life coach said, I'm coming over to give you a session. And I loved it so much that I started doing work with him. I also have a chiropractor in my town that I've been seeing for years that does emotional release. Yeah. So that was really helpful too. So and I just constantly, you feel the pain and then you feel the excitement and, nothing like a new successful brand to totally get you over it, though.
Yeah, the rebound.
Yeah.
It's not the rebound though. But okay, so we first met right after that, and we just were meeting, so I didn't know all of that because you had a podcast at the time.
Right.
I brought my son Solomon. We recorded in New York, and that was like right as your non-compete was coming up then.
Right. Yes, exactly.
So-
so after I left, I had all these opportunities. My husband and I did a hotel together. We renovated it called the George in Montclair. We have a photo and TV studio called 18 Label. I dove into that. I did a line of wellness supplements with Walmart, which was really interesting, learned a lot, and not successful. Evolution 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which let me talk about that.
Yeah.
I thought it was such a great idea.
Yeah.
I mean, democratizing it with Walmart.
Right.
It's needed.
Right.
Why did it
Why
not
did
stick?
it not work? Well, it's definitely a Harvard Business School story, looking at Jones Road and looking at Evolution 18. It didn't stick because, number one, I didn't have the right people running it. I had these great girls that were my, posse at the time that didn't have any business experience. One came from PR, one came from producing. So that's probably the main thing. And it was a different beast, Walmart. And we would, make these, tester units and they'd fall apart and no one cared. Like Walmart didn't even care. So, things like that. And, a couple of the products I loved and a lot of them I didn't love. Our business partner was also the vitamin manufacturer. So it was a great deal and gig for me. We split 50-50. He supplied everything, and I did all the work. So, I didn't lose any money doing it. And I learned a lot about business and digital business. And when I launched Jones Road, which was going to be a direct-to-consumer brand, I knew what would work and what wouldn't work, both from, the old-fashioned Bobbi Brown retail and the new, D2C consumer.
You took all that experience.
Yeah.
Probably even the restaurant.
Yeah.
But okay, and people don't know this. Many people don't
Yeah.
know this, but you were like trained through IAN, like you.
Right.
So can you talk
Yeah.
about that? Like
Right.
Bobbi Brown is a wellness aficionado.
Yeah, I mean, I was, my nickname is like Diet Dr. Brown's because my story is I dieted my way through high school, being a short Jewish girl. And then I realized I was either on a diet or off a diet. And I said, this is stupid. It doesn't make sense. And I realized, what you put in your body, sorry.
Right. This is real life.
That's my book agent. Okay, I'll call her later. What was I? Where was I? Where was I?
Wait, you were at the
IAN.
IAN, yeah.
Right. So I went to IAN because I always wanted to understand. Like, look, I am someone, and I've reached out to you zillions of times, and I've never like dove in and said, okay, here I am. I've tried so many things. I'm a very healthy specimen. Like I go to regular doctors. They're like, I've never seen cholesterol like this. I've never seen this. I've never seen that. I've done all the gut tests. It doesn't really show anything.
You're healthy.
I'm healthy, but there's a piece of me that wants to feel better.
Yeah, optimization.
Yeah.
Take it to the next level.
Well, that's what I'm working on. I'm very curious. But so I went to IAN because I didn't really have anything else to do. And I did my entire studies in my infrared sauna. Because it's for someone that has ADD, I do. It was the only place that I could sit still and study. So I did that and I somehow passed the course. And I loved it. I learned so much. But every single time we'd have a lesson, I'm like, that's it. I'm going vegan. And then the next one, I'm like, nope, I'm going paleo. And I'm like, finally, this is stupid. This is stupid. I don't want
our damn opinions.
I'm telling you, but also all you guys, and I'm gonna point my finger at you, which always telling us what we should do on that little stupid like Instagram. I'm like, yeah, I have to do that. And then someone else says, no, you have to do this. And all of a sudden my mind is like, what the hell? And so now I kind of do what makes the most sense to me. It's not always perfect, but I eat for what I want and the amount I want, and I'm always experimenting. And I can't just eat vegetables. I get a stomach ache.
No, I wouldn't recommend that. But no, I love
What'd
that.
you eat for breakfast?
I fasted. I didn't.
All right, I don't fast.
Many women shouldn't fast.
Right. Well, what do you know? So you don't eat breakfast ever?
I do. No, if I would have a breakfast, I would have typically 4 or 5 fried eggs over medium with lots of onions on it.
Oh.
I love that. I'm simple.
Yeah.
I'm like super simple.
Oh no, I'm simple.
Yeah.
I want a piece of toast. I don't care. I want a piece of toast.
I would have that too, like a sourdough.
I burnt it, so I only ate a quarter of my toast this morning. I really burnt it bad, and I put like farmer's cheese on it. I'm sorry. I was told not to eat dairy. I was told not to eat gluten in bread.
Yeah.
I don't have a gluten intolerance.
No, sourdough breaks it down anyway. So there's
and
people,
if you freeze it, see, I read all that stuff.
Okay.
If you freeze it, then it even breaks it down more.
Yes, I love it. So I apologize on behalf of the entire social media doctor people, where there's problems there. But you know what? That's what I like to talk about in the podcast because it's the science and art of it. It's the longer form context of bio-individuality. We're all different.
Right.
And these sort of orthodox, like extreme tribal. It's like, the truth is typically somewhere in the middle.
Right. And by the way, I have experiences where I'd go to Brooklyn with my kids who are big foodies, and I'd be the most restrictive eater and feeling miserable or on a cleanse or do whatever it was. And I'm like, I missed the whole experience.
Yeah.
And finally I said, enough. Like last night was my husband's birthday and he wanted to go out for Chinese food with 5 or 6 couples. So we did. And they ordered all this stuff. I ordered steamed chicken and broccoli. I got a big thing of steamed chicken and broccoli. I ate 1 or 2 things of the other food that came, and I left the meal and I said, I feel good.
Yeah.
They had no brown rice. I had white rice. I just prefer the taste of brown rice. And, I'm like, okay, well, that worked for me. But it took me a while to learn what works for me.
Yeah, and not comparing yourself to other people or be your own N of one. And you know your labs. Your labs are looking good. You feel good. So this sort of comparison trap happens in a lot of different spaces and certainly in the wellness space too.
I mean, I drink coffee and I drink alcohol.
Yeah, I know this about you.
Yeah, and I drink less alcohol than I've ever, drinking.
Yeah.
And I don't also barely finish drinks some of the times, but 1 or 2 sips calms me down.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do mushrooms. I can't do THC. It's the only thing that
Have you ever
works for
tried
me.
these other sort of neurotropic beverages that are supportive of the parasympathetic? They use adaptogens and herbs to help with that resting, calming effect.
I've never.
I'll give you some.
Yeah, give me some.
I'll give you some brands that I like. The name's eluding me. There's many brands out there.
Look, my cortisol is, I'm like, I seem really calm. I am not.
Yeah.
I am, I'm high functioning. And, whether, I take care of my family. I did the laundry before I got here. I ordered on Instacart so I can have, food, and I've got to go get dinner tonight. And I've got podcasts and Zooms all afternoon. So I'm pretty high functioning.
Yeah.
But, I am, I'm always on the edge.
Yeah. Well, I'll help you out.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I can't take Xanax. Makes me feel like shit. Like I Google natural Xanax, and what comes up is GABA or L-theanine. Is that right?
Yeah. Have you tried it?
Oh, yeah. I do that before I go to bed. I take a magnesium citrate and 500 milligrams, and which is great for the mornings.
Mm-hmm.
And I take those things, and I don't know why, but the sleep support from Mind Body Green knocks me out every night, and I don't feel tired. I don't know what's in it, but
Mind Body Green is amazing. Jason, Colleen, shout out to them.
They're the best.
I love them. Yeah. But yeah, I do this combination. It's called Chill, and it's myo-inositol, GABA, L-theanine, taurine, and it's really a good. It's GABA
your
energic.
Brand?
Yeah, the art of being well.
Okay, well, I will trade you for makeup for your wife. How's that?
You've already done that. I appreciate you helping me out. My wife. Okay, that's a good segue. So Jones Road.
Yeah.
Where did the idea come from? It's brilliant.
Well, I didn't think I was ever going to go back to beauty. I really walked out that day. I'm like, well, that's over. Elevator door closed. And I started doing all these other things. But then I realized I was missing makeup. So I went to New York with my quote unquote portfolio that I put together at 60 years old. Went to talk to, meet some agents, and they didn't know what the hell to do with me. And I'm like, okay, that didn't work. Went home. And I just started booking shoots to support Evolution 18. And I hired this great model, my friend Ben, the photographer, my hairdresser, and I'm like, okay, wow, look at how beautiful this is. And this is what makeup should be. And so I said, I wonder if I could make a clean line, because, Bobbi Brown was not a clean line. And it was, no question, why would you start a line that's not clean, when whatever year that was. So I started working with local chemists. I found little local chemists, had some ideas, and then I'm like, holy shit, look at this thing I just put on my face. It's a miracle. Now it's called Miracle Balm, and it's, kind of blown up Jones Road.
It's blown up.
Blown up.
I mean, it's wild. I remember when you launched it, and it was like 2020, right?
Yeah.
So it was at the height of COVID.
It was a week before the presidential election. It was the day my 25-year non-compete came up. That's why I launched it then.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So at that point, it's up. Were you gun shy at all? I was like, I think it's up, or no, you're good.
we literally I'll never forget. I was very excited and very, angsty, not angsty, but just like, excited, I guess, about doing this. And right before we pressed go, which is like open up the Instagram, I had a couple 100,000 followers. So I figure I opened a Jones Road Instagram, did that. I had a spot on the Today Show, business article in Wall Street Journal, and Elvis Duran radio show. It was before podcasts were big. And that's when I launched it. So I had one moment of uh-oh, what if no one likes it? What if I'm a one-hit wonder? What if the formulas don't work? But that went away, and people were like, oh my God, this is so exciting. No one had seen it yet. So I had to wait for people to see it. And then people started being like, you got to be kidding me. This is amazing.
And it has been. It's been wild ever since. Can you explain Miracle Balm, for people that haven't seen it, the texture, the experience of it?
So Miracle Balm was a happy accident of a product. I asked the lab for something, and they didn't do what I asked. And I was, I was going to take it and throw it in the garbage. Instead, I opened it up, and I stuck my hands in it. I patted it on my two hands as a makeup artist, put it on my face. I held a mirror up, and I said to the kids that work for me, who were 30 years younger than me, I'm like, maybe 40 years younger than me. I'm like, oh my God, look at my face. This is a friggin' miracle. I didn't say friggin', I said something else with an F, but I'm like, oh my God, it's incredible. And they're like, oh my God. And I started giving little samples, and this was during the pandemic, to my girlfriends. And they were like, you've got to be kidding me, Bobbi. I've never seen anything like this, because it just instantly made you look and feel better. So that was the start of it.
And you have a whole line. What are the other things within Jones Road?
Now we have 15 colors of those. We started out with 4. We have the best mascara in, I think, the beauty world, and it's a clean mascara. We have this foundation called WTF, or What the Foundation, and it was a similar thing. You put it on, you look like you have nothing on, but your skin just looks so much better. We have that. We have an eyeshadow called Just a Sec, which you take your finger, you put it on. And, we now have a lot of products and a lot more coming out in the pipeline.
Anything you can share?
Sure.
This will be coming out in January, in the new year?
Well, yes. It will either have just launched or it's launching 5 gorgeous body products.
Wow.
Because people deal with their faces, they forget about their bodies. And yeah, you put a moisturizer on, but we wanted to create little luxuries where you put it on and you feel like you're in the best spa. The good news is Jones Road is amazing formulas, but we are able to keep the price points down because we don't spend money on, stupid things. So we're able to keep the price
Again, all
point
that
down.
experience.
Yeah, our packaging is stock. It's really simple. The body packaging is navy. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
So
I'm
it's like
excited about
a serum for the body, or?
We have a lotion. We have a body cream, but it's literally you put it on, you're like, oh my God, it's so luxurious. We have a shower gel. We have a shower oil, body oil, and we have a scrub. And they all have this multi, very mild, but, more citrusy feel and smell. It's fresh, but you could still wear your fragrance with it.
Love it.
Yeah, it's really
It's
nice.
exciting.
Yeah.
What, in developing all these Jones Road products, was there one that was the hardest to get a clean formula that worked to be like functional but also clean?
Mascara, for sure. I mean, most clean mascaras, you try them and you're like, they're wimpy. I don't know what the lab did to get this so black and thick. You know, maybe as I pushed them a lot, but, you know, it's an amazing formula.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Amazing. Is there a product it's been successful and people are seeing all of the tremendous success online? Was there something that flopped from a product that you thought was going to be successful in Jones Road? But still was a learning experience.
No,
maybe.
I'm honestly trying to think because I don't think anything flopped. I mean, I think I would have expected and wished our sunscreen would do better because, you know, it's a sunscreen that works so well under makeup. It does, you know. And
maybe flopped is a bad word, or maybe didn't catch
flop.
on the way.
It didn't blow up. Like not
blow up.
everything could blow up. So, you know, we were surprised. Our first fragrance, like we couldn't keep it on stock, sold out a couple times. It's called Shower. Our second fragrance, which is called Brooklyn, you know, it's amazing fragrance. We might not have marketed it with as much excitement. You know, it does fine. We're not getting rid of it, but it needs another push.
In all your years of experience in all the companies, do you ever find that something maybe doesn't blow up at the beginning, but is a slow burner
Yes.
and has a moment later on?
Which I care about more, and I tell this to the team all the time. It's like this, you know, this is a product that when people actually use it, they're going to love it, and they're going to tell their friends about it, and it's going to be a build, and then it's going to become a staple.
So your advice would be don't give up.
No,
like,
don't give up.
Even if it's not like a sensation.
Right. And you know, if it doesn't do what you think it's going to do, go back and look at everything and say, okay, were our visuals not right? Should we have not done this? Could we have done this? Did we not send them out to the right influencers? Like there's a million things that and you know, and then you figure something out and redo it.
Yeah. What is your approach with that sort of influencer world, TikTok shop, Instagram, all that stuff with Jones Road specifically?
Well, we are not in regular retail. We have one retail account in the world, which is Selfridges. God, bite my tongue. Liberty. Liberty in London. Sorry, Liberty.
We love Liberty,
yeah,
London.
Liberty. It's the best. So we're there, and that's the only one. We're not in any other department stores. We're not in Sephora.
Which I was at that store a
Ulta.
few months ago. Every time I'm in London,
Yeah.
I stop in, and the Jones Road is like
we had to move.
big thing.
Yeah, we had to move to a bigger space because it was always so crowded. It was a fire hazard. And we're the number one line there.
Wow.
And that's, you know, and we push our team hard to stay the number one line. Because
That's
by the
cool.
way, when you get to this point of success, you can't just like relax, right? No matter what, there's
That's
always
another level or
It is.
or to keep it going,
right
momentum.
and there's always someone on your tail. And by the way, there's always things that mess up. It's called business. Like some of the kids that work for me, they get so upset when things mess up. I'm like, guys, it's called business. It happens, you know, like things don't ship on time, there's always something.
How you mentioned, how do you not let that stuff rattle you, or does it still rattle you? Like the day-to-day things that aren't working out the way that it should.
No, it doesn't rattle me. The only thing that rattles me are people. Seriously, that's the hardest thing, you know.
Managing people.
them and making sure that, you know, the right people are in the right jobs and that we have the right people. That's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Because you spend more time with these people than family sometimes.
Yeah. No,
It
for
matters.
sure. No, it does matter. And, you know, my job is to, you know, be a leader and to be someone that kind of, you know, encourages. And there's, you know, a lot of really smart, talented people that don't have the same experience I have. I don't have anyone in my organization that has the same experience I have. I mean,
Yeah.
and at one point I would like to add one person.
Yeah.
I don't
love
know
that.
who or where, but yeah.
This is your LinkedIn ad for your new.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to social media and how you handle that, because you're not in retail other
Right,
than Liberty
yeah.
London.
Well, I mean, social media is everything. That's where we say, okay, guys, you know, now we tease it out a day or two, but, you know, this is new, check it out. And, you know, the first day is always like explosive sales, you know, and then there's the influencers, the content creators, the influencers. And, you know, we've been in and out different ways. And, you know, that part of the world changes so much. You just have to be open to kind of shift and try different things. I mean, when I was promoting this book, you know, in all of our PR meetings, it's all about podcasts, right? I used to go on Oprah. One Oprah appearance, I would be on the bestsellers list. Now I've been on everyone and their uncle's TV show, and I'm going on everyone's podcast, and that's what you do.
Yeah, isn't that that's an interesting topic to think
Yeah.
about, because you were having these books, having these companies in a time where it was like the big media. Oprah
Right.
was the biggest
It
needle
was,
mover.
right, for sure. And then there was things like Parade magazine would, sell
Like
things.
print magazine, yeah.
Right. And like that's not even happening anymore. And we're launching this body, and it used to be about getting a double page spread in Vogue. I'm not even sure Vogue's mentioning it, and it's not even on our radar. Wow. So like so many. Yes, I'd love to open a nice, beautiful print magazine and see a big story, but they don't even do that anymore.
No.
So
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you like this shift? Do you feel like it's harder?
No, I like the shift. I love newness, and the reason I'm still doing what I'm doing is I'm so into not knowing things and learning and figuring it out.
Wow.
Like that's what keeps you fresh.
Yeah. The nature nurture conversation. Do you feel like Bobbi Brown has been as successful as you have been because of one more than the other?
I really don't know the answer to that because, writing the book was cathartic, so I kind of understood myself. And I realized that because my positive attitude, my naivete, and not wanting to not be successful has made me very driven. I don't think either of my parents were that driven. They were hardworking. I don't think they were that driven. My sister, my brother were not as driven. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think, my father used to always scratch his head about my success, Like when I called him this year, he's 90 right now, and I said, Dad, I just got Times one, I'm on the Times 100 list.
Wow, Bobby, that's
Yeah, that
amazing.
was really cool. And I got a shout out from Snoop Dogg,
Hey,
which was,
Snoop.
I'm telling you, that was the coolest. But my dad
What did he say? What did Snoop say?
Oh, it was so cool. So it was televised, which was really fun. And we were at a really fun table. I met Dak Shepard was sitting next to me. So, of course, I got to be on his podcast. And Kristen Bell and Demi Moore and a few other people at the table.
Yeah.
And he did this thing. And he started talking about all the, people in the room. He said, we've got, award winners and Super Bowl captains and, gymnasts and this and that. And we even have the most what's the word? Oh my God, when someone gets in trouble and they're all, he says, we even have the most uncontroversial Bobbi Brown in the room. So yeah, it was a really fun shout out.
But both are from the New York, New Jersey area too. Oh no, he's from Boston, right? The other Bobbi Brown.
Oh, the other Bobbi Brown. Well, there's a lot of Bobbi Browns. That Bobbi Brown, I think, is from Boston.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Bobbi Browns.
Who's the other one?
Well, there's Bobbi Brown, the skier. There's a very famous snowboarder. Is he a snowboarder or a skier? There's a Bobbi Brown that was a porn star turned actress. There's Millie Bobby Brown.
That's true.
So there's a whole bunch.
You're the only one that I love and know.
And I was born Bobbi Brown. People don't understand. I'm like, yeah, that was my name at birth.
I love that. Speaking of names, where did the name Jones Road come from?
Well, I needed a name, and it's really hard when it's like, with your kid, but there's only two of you.
Yeah.
But when it's a name and you've got people that work for you and your husband and your kids, and no one was either agreeing on a name that I liked, and we got writers and friends and branding people, or it wasn't available. And we were driving to the Hamptons, my husband and I, and as normal, I was complaining about, the angst of not having this name. But I was also looking at ways, because my husband doesn't like to be late anywhere. He wants to make sure that, can we get off and go a different way, even though we had nowhere to go. And I looked down and I saw Jones Road on a street, and I said, Jones Road Beauty. And my husband said, I like it. And it was available.
What?
Yeah.
That is
End
wild.
of story. Yeah.
That's amazing. So did you have people that didn't get it? Did
Yeah.
you get opinions that like, I don't like it?
Yeah, a few people, but it didn't matter. I liked it. And what it reminded me was like, I said, wow, it sounds like a bespoke British brand. And I'm like a big Anglophile. And, I couldn't use Brown, so I'll use Jones.
I love it. So I'm an Anglophile too.
Yeah.
I love it. Do you like British history?
Oh, yeah.
Me too,
Yeah.
Bobby.
Yeah, and I love the royal family.
Oh, me too.
My biggest regret in life is I never met the Queen.
Well, that's one of mine too. And
Yeah.
Princess Diana. Did you meet her?
I did not meet Princess Diana. No.
You had to have met some
No.
royals in your life, though, right?
Well, Pippa and the now, I guess she's the Princess Kate, wore Bobbi Brown makeup to her wedding. One of my artists did her makeup, and I've had tea with Eugenie, and
It's amazing.
yeah. So
Oh, we have to go to England sometime
Yeah.
together. That would be so much fun. So what's next for you? What's next? What's in this year, this new year?
well, it's going to be, I think, a very interesting year. We're 5 years at Jones Road. My memoir is, launched and loaded, and I'm going to try somehow to learn how to take things down a notch and chill. Not that I'm going to do any less, but that's my plan for this year. I want to just figure out, maybe you could definitely be my advice coach on this. I have an infrared sauna. I have an amazing massage chair called In Touch. Have you ever tried it?
I may have.
Oh my God.
What's it look like?
Oh, spaceship. It looks
Okay.
like a spaceship.
I
The
need-
human touch.
Okay.
It's the most expensive, unbelievable thing. We fight over it in my house
need to
because
check
it's
this out.
so wonderful.
I try these out at like different wellness
Yeah.
things, right? They have their
Yeah,
booths here.
it's really good. So
So you're looking to calm the nervous system a bit.
I-
Smarter, not harder. Work
right,
harder. Yeah.
smart. Yeah, I don't want to do less. I just want to do it smarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have do you have a spiritual practice? Was that something that kind of was a part of your life?
I don't think I don't even.
You mentioned you're Jewish.
Yeah.
Were you religious growing up? Or?
No, I wasn't religious. I am very proud to be Jewish. Culturally, I'm not a religious person at all. All of my kids have married out of the faith, which I'm so grateful because now we get all the faiths. We have 2 grandkids.
Yeah.
I have 2 dogs. So I'm very philosophical. I am very, I'm reflective. I mean, I don't need to have a religion to feel, connected.
I see God all through your life. From my perspective, I mean, there's a beauty there, and I know that you love your family. And there's such an authentic, beautiful thing.
It's it's so awesome to be successful in your career and successful in your marriage,
Yes,
right?
So
and
rare.
your family. It's really rare. I think about a lot of women that I started out the same time I did with these companies, and they're all divorced.
Yeah,
And I always put the importance on the things that really mattered to me.
yeah. And speaking of that, I like something that's so unique with Jones Road. Also, is that a lot of your family is involved in the
Yes.
business side, which is
Yes.
also very rare
It
to
is,
work out.
right? And it's really great, and it's really hard. Like I get off the phone, some business call, and my husband, who's in the other room working, what'd they say? What was that about? And I'm like, I have to answer them, right? So I'm like, and then my son, who's the CEO, he gets triggered. I get him pissed off really easily. I'm very good at it, and I'm just trying not to. I really am working hard on not doing it.
It's the 2026 goals.
Yeah, exactly.
And who else is involved in the family?
My daughter-in-law is the head of brand. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So that's very different than Estee Lauder and
Right.
Bobbi Brown. So was there, in the corporate world, was that a difficult decision or just right?
We didn't really make a decision. It kind of happened. Like, we started hiring, different kind of people, and it wasn't always the right hire. And my son, who was a digital marketing genius, started helping. And then things he did moved the needle a lot. And then he started, working for us in one capacity. And then all of a sudden he added a second. All of a sudden he was the head of marketing. And then he was a CMO. And then we had a COO who really wasn't working. So then we replaced him with my son, who is the CEO, and made, the girl, our first employee, who was the head of product, who was doing all the COO things anyways, the COO. So it happened, and, we needed help on brand. We hired a bunch of people, and it was not good fits. Just because they worked for companies that we admire doesn't mean they're a good fit. And my daughter-in-law started, quote unquote, helping. And then she's become great at it. So,
Is there any rules that you guys have as a family to separate the family and business, or no?
you mean the ones we break constantly?
Yeah.
Saturday morning when my son, he also lives in our town, and he's got the 2 grandkids. So when he's walking in the morning, he calls me. My husband's playing golf. His wife is at home, exercising. So we could just kind of, catch up and really talk about who's driving us crazy and what we could do about things. But we have these fights and he quits, and then I have to talk him down and say, okay. So we try not to talk, but we do. We get together for dinner as a family. And if it's just my husband, myself, and Cody and Pyle, it's okay. But when I see my other boys, our 2 other boys that come over and they start to kind of roll their eyes, we stop. Yeah.
I love it. This is a random question. We were on a Zoom once, and I remember, we talked about being Anglophile. I love history. And there were these awesome pictures of American presidents behind you.
Yeah.
Where is that from?
Oh, my God. I wish it still existed. It was our old house. My husband and I found it at a secondhand design place years ago, and we filled our hallways with these.
It's so cool.
Because, my old house looked like, I look like the biggest, English person in this manner. My new house, I look like, I don't know, Brad Pitt or something. It's very like simple
Minimalist.
and minimal. And we had them, and when we moved, my husband sold it. I say from under me. He said I was aware of it, but I wanted to put them in storage, and he refuses to ever. He said, I'm not paying for a storage area that you're never, and just to hold our stuff.
That is
because people do that, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
for
you've
sure.
spent so much money
Just collecting dust.
and no one wants your stuff.
Yeah. Oh, man. Somebody in New Jersey, or where was
Yes,
that?
exactly.
has those
Someone has
pictures.
it. Call me. I'll pay you.
Return to sender.
I will pay you. Yeah.
Okay, before we go, the podcast is called The Art of Being Well. At the end, we have your art of being well. What is the most disgusting, or something you don't like the taste of, but you can appreciate it because you do it for the health benefits? Do you have a food that...
So many things. Well, it's not disgusting, but I just started eating these veggies. They're called Veggie Vice, maybe, and they are just, whey protein on these broccoli. It's a whole thing of broccoli. I've just, started helping her with her new brand. I think they're delicious. Other people eat it and say this is disgusting. I think they're good. I mean, look, I shoot, apple cider vinegar in down the hatch. It's not exactly, doesn't exactly taste good. And, alkaline powder, which is basically baking soda. Sometimes I drink baking soda. I never know, when should I have a baking soda? When should I have an AG1? When should I have a, the apple cider vinegar? And do I even need them? I put salt in my water. I'm trying everything here, Willie.
You're throwing it all in one big vat and chugging it down. I'll help you out. I kind of answered that, but do you take supplements? And if so, like, what are the 2 lesser known supplements that maybe we haven't talked about that people should know about?
I'm really not good with supplements. I take thyroid in the morning, and I take, a couple hormone things. So I could do them in the morning. I could do it before I go to bed. I carry things around with me during the day. I never take them, so I stopped that. I was hoping AG1 would be the answer. Like, now I know I need fish oil. So I actually pulled it out of my drawer to ask you if this even works. Because
I love that you brought it.
Because I was
to
like,
the art of being well.
I do. So wait, it's that little teeny pack, and it tastes
Amazing.
really good. And you squeeze it in your mouth, and yeah, I will.
Is this Symbiotica?
No, this? It's Omega.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen this brand. Let me look. So it's omega-3. It's a squeeze. Where did you find this?
I don't know. I'm like somewhere online.
Have you been influenced?
It looks like looks like a good company.
Okay, I need to look into this because it doesn't have the ingredients on the back. Okay. It's omega-3s. Right. So let's see.
Because I can't take those big giant pills.
Okay.
I can't do it. So sometimes I buy the liquid, that tastes like chocolate.
Okay, let's think about this. I'll look at the ingredients, but I'll text you and we will verify this. Yeah. Because if it had the ingredients in the back, I need to do some research.
I can't even tell if it's how old it is.
Yes, the expiration date should be there too because mega fatty acids can oxidize, because they're sensitive to light and heat and they're polyunsaturated bonds. So, and the sourcing of it doesn't let you know on this, but we can find out. I'll do some research.
I get a lot of things for free because people want me to post.
Yes,
and all of a sudden I am inundated and overloaded, and I take it all and I put it in a bag and I just donate it.
Yeah.
I just say, get this out of here. So I don't even know what I am or should. I need someone that says, look, these are the 3 things you should do. And just,
I'll help you out. You can
Yeah.
reach out anytime you want. But we'll also, you want someone local too. We'll get a concierge person here.
Yeah.
In part, we'll talk about it. Okay. This is a funny question. What is a conspiracy that you know 100% to be true?
A conspiracy that smoking's bad for you. Smoking kills you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a conspiracy.
Yeah.
It's just, of course, that's 100% true. It's not good for you.
Yeah. People say the funniest things, like they talk about aliens. Do you believe in aliens?
No, I don't believe in aliens.
Do you believe? Some people don't believe that we landed on the moon.
No,
I've heard the funniest things.
Well, I knew Neil Armstrong, so I know we landed on the moon.
I love that. See, we confirmed that on
Yes.
this episode.
Yeah.
Okay. What is somewhere you haven't been to in the world that is on your bucket list?
It's so funny you say that. I really want to go to either Shaw Wellness or one of those places.
In Mexico.
Yeah.
And there's one in Spain, too.
I want to go to, and they've offered me to come for free. And I haven't
Me too.
been
We
able
should
to-
go together.
I haven't been able to figure it out.
Yeah.
I would love, my husband loves to travel. So we go to Europe a lot and I eat and I have a great time, and I feel great until I get home and then I feel awful. And I want to go to one of those places where I am literally turning myself inside out, like trying to figure out, how to feel better.
Yeah. Hey, I've heard great things. I've met them. They're really kind people. I met the head of it and all of that stuff. Have you been to We Care?
Yes. And I don't want to go back to We Care. No, thank you. No, thanks.
You don't like enemas?
No, I don't like
Colonics?
enemas, and no, I don't at all. No, I don't. No.
Where's somewhere that you have been that should be on other people's bucket list?
The Bahamas.
A specific island? Or?
You know what? We have a home that we don't go to very often, but it is the most healing place in the world because that blue water and the white sand somehow calms me down.
Yeah.
I just sit there and I'm like, oh my God. I think my cortisol drops 10 things.
Something healing about it.
Yeah. What do you struggle with? I mean, you're always helping all of us struggle. What do you struggle
I
with?
struggle with anxiety, that sort of stress bit that my nervous system's kind of wound with that.
Yeah, what is this anxiety? It was never a word when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I'm totally anxious.
I
but
think
so is
people-
everybody.
Yeah. I think people may be a little bit more emotionally intelligent and there's like more of a normalization. Maybe we've overcorrected a bit. We pathologize everything and there's the therapy talk is a problem. Everybody's being diagnosed as something. So I don't think that.
But what do you take when you feel it?
That chill compound.
Okay.
It's like myoinositol, taurine, L-theanine,
oh my
GABA.
God. It'll be ordered by the time I get in
Well,
the
I'm going to
car.
send you some. I'll send you some.
Is it in a form like a potato chip? We could be rich. If you
That's
could
what
put
we need to
vitamins
do.
in a potato chip, dude.
That's your next business venture with
Yeah.
me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it. Functional potato chips.
Oh, can you imagine?
Oh, that's the
Yeah.
don't take it, people.
So what would you eat if it didn't have bad health things?
This is why
or
you
would
need a
make
podcast,
or
Bobbi
would
Brown.
make you fat? My podcast should be, I'm so curious.
Yeah.
Like, what would you eat if it was like,
If it pizza,
I'd play that game.
100% pizza.
Okay.
And I still eat it though.
Yeah.
I get like a good. Have you been to True Food Kitchen?
of course,
This one in
do
Palm
they have
Beach.
good pizza?
They have good sourdough pizza.
Yeah.
I love True Food Kitchen pizza, and I don't really get pizza that
Right.
often. But
Yeah.
if it's good quality, I'll have it. Or
Right.
I'll do sourdough or a gluten free.
Yeah. So you do sourdough?
Yeah.
Every day? Or
Not
whenever
every
you feel
day.
like
No.
I
It's
find
the-
you can't do it every. Oh, then I have to tell you about Johnny's sourdough here.
Is it a brand?
No, it's a bakery.
Actual guy
It's
named Johnny?
Yeah, and he makes sourdough bagels, sourdough bread. He's closed Monday and Tuesdays, but I buy his bagels and I cut them in thirds and I freeze them. So
love it. Super smart.
Yeah, and then I put cottage cheese in the morning on it.
I love it. You do need to have your podcast back when the time's right. But
Yeah.
we're talking about smarter, not harder. So I don't want to add another
Yeah.
thing to your plate. But
Yeah, but I am. That's my biggest problem. I'm so curious.
yeah, you
I
are.
always think there's something better.
There is. Do you know what Enneagram you are? Think about it.
I don't even know what an Enneagram is.
ENNEAGRAM. It's like a personality. I'll text you the quiz. No one knows it. It's fine. I wonder what you are.
Yeah, I'm
It's-
an Aries. Does
Okay.
that help?
No, it doesn't. Not for this one, at
Okay.
least. My friend, where do people go? Where do people go to learn about your work? Jones Road, the book.
Right. Well, the book is called Still Bobbi. Please buy it on Amazon or Barnes and Noble. Apparently, that's a good place to buy it. And just Bobbi, DOTCOM is my Instagram. Jones Road Instagram. I have a Substack. And I think I have a,
You're on
a
TikTok?
TikTok, a Twitter. I got the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
LinkedIn. What else is left?
I think that's
Threads.
it. X, you on X?
I'm not on X.
Yeah, you should
I'm
be.
not on X.
I'm not on it either. I'm
Then why
not
should I
active.
be?
Yeah, no, I'm saying it. I like it for news.
Yeah.
I read it for news.
Right. I mean, apparently my Instagram is linked to my Facebook, so everyone thinks I'm on Facebook, but they probably wonder why I never answer them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with me. My friend, thanks for coming on.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.